Good morning, all. I'm Jennifer, and it's my pleasure to extend a hearty welcome to today's technical webinar on the topic Generative AI and Machine Learning. And this will be presented by Sanjay Nigotkar and co-presented by Tony Trin. Sanjay is a seasoned professional with over 20 years of experience in the technology industry, currently serving as the US West Area leader and partner solutions architect at Amazon Web Services. He drives successful businesses outcomes by enabling customers with cloud native services and partner solutions. Prior roles include leadership positions at NetApp, Adobe, and Cisco, showcasing his expertise in cloud architecture, program management, and technical innovation. Sanjay's diverse background and extensive contributions have consistently played a pivotal role in the success of the organizations he has served. We also have with us today Tony Trin, who is a seasoned senior solutions architect at Amazon Web Services, specializing in generative AI and machine learning. He has played a pivotal role in driving customer adoption in Asia Pacific and North America, leading architectural design sessions, building proof of concepts, and providing technical guidance. Tony's experience extends to publishing technical blogs, mentoring colleagues, public speaking, and leading technical review programs, resulting in substantial revenue growth and partner onboarding. Additionally, he possesses expertise in cloud computing, programming, SaaS architecture, and various AWS and GCP certifications. We're very happy and thankful to Sanjay and Tony for being with us today and taking your time off on a weekend to benefit our scholars, enabling knowledge or increasing awareness on AI and machine learning. Thank you for joining us today. And before I hand it over to the speakers, I would like to let the participants know that this is a very interactive session. So please keep posting your questions in the Q&A box and the speakers will take it towards the end. Over to you, Sanjay and Tony.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. So glad to be here, and thanks for the opportunity. We extend our thanks to Foundation for Excellence for hosting this webinar, and I hope in next 1 hour you all will benefit from what the art of possible looks like in generative AI on AWS. And both Tony and I are in AWS. We actively work with our customers. We work with our product teams, building some of the new possibilities and feature set on generative AI, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. So happy to share our knowledge, take any questions. If we cannot cover all the topics, all the questions today, we will be available offline. I will share my email address towards the end. Definitely stay in touch. The goal is to show you the art of possible, and that's the title, guys. This is not a sales pitch. This is not a technology session. It is to show you what's out there. What is the possibility? What is the opportunity with this generative AI? There is a lot we heard in 2013 and in prior years. A lot of these companies such as Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, all these companies are coming up with these generative AI tools and services. We want to take all those pieces together and wave something which you can understand and you can embed it in your learning journey, because that's the goal. We want to show you the path, what the future looks like, and where you can strive towards marching along those lines. So next slide, Tony. So I think the first and foremost thing is mainly to think about innovation. All this generative AI, these terminologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning. First, you have to understand this pace of innovation that is happening all around us is extremely critical. This has been happening, and generative AI has taken the world by storm, because you probably have heard ChatGPT and some of these chatbots applications. You have personally experienced maybe how powerful these latest machine learning models have become. They are becoming intelligent day over day, right? While a lot of attention has been given to how consumers and users are using this generative AI, we think there is a bigger opportunity in how future education, technical industry, IT, businesses will use it to deliver amazing experience to their students and customers and employees. So the true power of generative AI goes beyond just the search engine or chatbot. And that's what we will demo you today. Tony has a couple of some interesting demos that you will see things in action. and it will show you how things get transformed into the aspect of how we as an individual and companies and organization really operates, and where the future will take us from there. So now the potential for generative AI can only be understood if you really understand the difference between. So I'll take a step back and show you what AI, ML, and DL means really, and where this generative AI term really came. So let's set that context first, right? So AI is the broader superset, I would say, and it is best for completing a complex human task with efficiency, right? For example, AI is used in virtual assistants, recommendation engine systems, and more, right? Machine learning is a subset of AI that uses the algorithms, and it learns the patterns through the data. It learns based on some of the attributes and parameters that you feed to the artificial intelligence systems, right? So ML helps really identifying those patterns in the large set of data to solve specific problem, right? And deep learning is then a very specific subset within the machine learning that employs artificial neural networks for complex tasks. For example, it utilizes it is used in autonomous vehicles such as Tesla, and speech recognition and advanced AI applications, right? And machine learning, on the other hand, it is mainly, and you will see some of those demos we will show you through generative AI and machine learning model, foundational models that Tony has. It generates some output. It helps you recognize images, spam filtering, and some other tasks. Okay. So you have to really understand, and I'm sure you all in your academic curriculum, you are learning these as in some shape and form as your engineering subjects. So I would say keep that learning going, look around, do some market research, read through all the industry and market research papers, McKinsey, Gartner, IDC. These are some of the links we will be happy to share. That will give you a broader perspective in terms of what these terms are and where things are specifically. Next slide, Tony. Now, specifically on generative AI, where this term really came from. So, as I said, generative AI is generating the contents through artificial intelligence in a simple term, right? And what are the output contents it is creating? It is text, images, music, videos, and more, right? So it is that artificial intelligence, those systems which are creating new contents, and it's a subset of machine learning. And basically it is taking some of the inputs, lot of data as a source, and by its own experience and learning and prompt engineering and tagging, etc., it specifically answer the set of questions, and it specifically generate the set of contents that you desire for. Okay, so that's in a simple term. Now, if you look back, the journey of the generative AI, when exactly this whole thing started. So specifically around 2010 onward, that's where a lot of research has started happening. You probably must have studied in engineering, natural language processing, theoretical computer science. Some of these subjects that you have, they are all the foundations for the today's generative AI, what we see today. Okay. So around 2010, the researcher, they were able to actually see that the natural language translation discovered the models, and by 2014, then some of those words started making sense in the context in which they are applied. And that's when these all foundational models started evolving. In the universities and all, the research has started happening. Some of the ideas and concepts started building. And between 17 and 2022, the foundational models came into fruition. And you saw in 2022, ChatGPT kind of applications were launched, and we started using it. Some of us in the companies, we use it to generate documents. We generate to write the test cases for the QA process, and so on and so forth. You can generate some of the musics that you want from selected players, and so on. So there is a ton of possibilities. And in 2023 specifically, all these on the far right side, you will see these tools and services being launched. Now that's when I'm sure most of you got confused. What are these tools? What are these services? Which one is good for what? Right? Where should I start? And that's what in the next couple of slides, we are going to dive a little bit deeper. We will show you the path where you need to start and how you can take that learning journey to become the master. Now, my last slide, this is just to throw it out there, what Gartner predict. And Gartner is the industry market research firm. You all must have heard about it. This is from their 2023 report on generative AI. Now, you can see some of these numbers and metrics. They do a lot of research. They interview a lot of corporate executives, people, consumers, businesses, enterprises, and industry champions. 2024, which is this year, 40% of the applications will start using conversational AI. For example, when you now call the call center for any customer support services, the chances are your answer is responded by a robocall or a robot or an automated machine based on all the history of the similar question that they had, and they can generate an intelligent answer for you, right? And if you keep on reading like that, by 2027, the last point, 15% of the new application development will happen through AI without a human intervention. Now, some of you may see that as a scary thing that, hey, I'm doing computer science degree and all my jobs will those be taken away? What will I do? If I don't have to write the code and if those are being written by the machines, then what am I going to do? No. So that's exactly what we will address in the next couple of slides, that there is a ton of new work, different type of work, which will be there for the IT professionals such as yourself. So with that, I'll hand it over to Tony so that he can take you through step by step in a little bit deeper into what the stack looks like, and what are the use case in the industry which are there, how the companies are using some of these, and you may not be able to correlate all of it immediately, but at least it will give you a sense that, for example, in healthcare business, and maybe Tony, I can take that next slide. If you can slide to the next one. So first and foremost, and I'll skip this slide for now because I'm sure, Tony, you will cover this, what the foundational model looks like probably. But here are some of the use cases where the generative AI and machine learning is kind of making the deeper impact immediately. Chatbots, virtual assistants, and for example, the conversational presentation, content generation, QA process optimization. These are just the starting point, right? Now there is a lot more which is underneath of each of these, and as these use cases and as these applications are being built by the companies, more and more northbound and southbound kind of applications will come into picture. And that's where the people such as yourself who are IT graduates and students who are pursuing the AI, ML, and data science career path, you guys will be in high demand to help these companies understand this data, understand these models, and translate their business needs into these softwares, right? Next slide. Now, here are some of the example, I would say, use cases or the applications which are currently in use. And at AWS, Tony and I have seen these in firsthand. For example, medical imaging, right? Or drug discovery. Drug discovery is during Corona, we saw that Moderna and Pfizer and some of these companies, they were rushing to come up with some vaccine, for example, drugs for Corona kind of serious diseases. Generative AI can be used to generate new potential molecular structure for drugs. Now, accelerating the process of drug discovery and reducing the cost, doing it at a faster pace than in the past, right? Product design is another area where generative AI can be used to create new product design based on the set of parameters and constraints. Operational efficiency. It can simulate the production to identify improvements and hidden insights, validate models, synthetic data, boost predict. The QA process that happens today, we are seeing our customers are generating the test cases, test plans, and all that for their applications automatically through GenAI kind of applications. So the possibility is tremendous. You just need to identify what your passion area is, which industry vertical you want to pursue your career in the future. I would say go pursue that path, dive deep, learn as much as possible, see who are the top players in that space, right? Play with those tools and services, experiment, and then learn at your own pace. So with that, let me transition to Tony. And Tony, if you can take us through step by step what the possibility is and how our audience can start their learning journey. Tony?
Awesome. Thanks, Sanjay. So before we dive deeper into generative AI, let's talk a bit about what it may mean for you, the audience today, because at time technological advancement or paradigm shift like this may feel a little overwhelmed, and that's for everyone, not just you, even myself, and I'm sure a lot of my peers also feel overwhelmed at time with generative AI. So we'll have a look at a very high level how generative AI work, and then we'll explain to you because of the way it works, what is the opportunity and what is the challenges in the future that you may face. Now, machine learning has been around for a very long time, and it's not a new technology. The thing that makes generative AI so hard and so, I would say, such a breakthrough is because of the way that the modern model architecture can process a mass amount of data using architecture like transformer. And don't worry if you don't understand this term, right? The point here is about, back in the day, machine learning could process a lot of data, but not at the internet scale. This day, generative AI foundation model can process the entire data of the entire internet and more. We actually running out of data to train foundation model, which power generative AI. And by the way, I'm sure you heard about term like GPT 3.5 or GPT 4. Those are the name of the foundation model. And you may have heard of term like Mistral or Zephyr or Claude from Anthropic. Those are the name of the foundation model that were trained with that kind of internet scale data and power the chatbot application. So remember, ChatGPT or Amazon Q are the application, and they are powered by foundation model. And from that, the thing is that when company want to train such large model using such mass amount of data, they all need three factor on your right hand side, on the right side of the screen. First, they need a huge amount of data. And second, they need a lot of compute power. And that compute power mean, they need to have graphical processing unit or GPU or, custom silicon like Amazon Trainium or Amazon Inferentia, which we're gonna, take a sneak peek into in the next few slides. But most important of all, company this day who want to train or create this new foundation model that include company like Amazon, OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, you name it. All of this company need the talent like you. And what they looking for are the people who understand how to work with compute, how to work with data, and how to make sure that you can transform the power of data and compute into something of intelligence, such as Amazon Q or GPT or Google Bard or Google Gemini. And because of that, on your left-hand side is a kind of report that come from McKinsey and Company that predict a trend of, the need for labor or the need for, job or, expertise, if you may, in the next 5 to 10 years. And the prediction is that by 2030, about 30% of the workforce will be automated by generative AI. However, the demand for STEM professionals, so that's science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And I guess most of the audience today are STEM professional in the future, right? Will be in high demand. And like I said, new job family that work with data, work with compute will be in very high demand. So that could mean job family like, deep learning engineer, AI chatbot developer, prompt engineer, data annotator, and very importantly, data auditor as well. Because one of the, I would say, challenge with AI is that this day model like GPT or BART could actually hallucinate. That means they can provide answer that is not factual. And that's why guardrail and governance and auditing in AI becoming very important. So these are just very few example of the new job role or job family that are high demand right now or will be high demand in the near future by 2030, right? So that means, your future is bright. If you choose to follow this path, your skill will be in high demand, and I'm sure you can build a great career. And there's one thing that I want to note is that the title of the slide is that Generative AI and the Future of Work in America. Now I understand that most of the audience come from Asia, and I also from Asia, and sometimes I do realize the market and the society may work differently in Asia as compared to America. But I believe that because of the size of the economy that we have and how connected this economy is, I would say the trend that we see in America would be very likely happen in Asia as well. There may be some area of differences, but I do believe that this trend of the need for STEM professional will be across globally. But one last note on this slide that I like to add is that, apart from the hard skill, which means, working with data, working with compute, understand a lot of algorithm or coming up with new algorithm and model architecture, soft skill like, interpersonal skill and communication and problem solving skill are extremely crucial this day. Because, this day almost anyone can code with the help of, like Amazon Code Whisperer or GitHub Copilot or even ChatGPT, right? So this kind of like interpersonal skill become even rarer and more important this day. So and then in the next slide, we'll take a sneak peek into the long wave of innovation and how it really mean and what the future really look like for you. Because there's this saying that people who don't learn from the history is doomed to repeat itself, right? And then the way we learn from history is by observing. And we can see that there are multiple waves of innovation. First wave lasts for about 60 years with the innovation like water power, textile, iron, and then you move on to steam power, rail and steel, and then after that electricity, and then electronic and aviation. And then we are right now at the very beginning of the sixth wave of innovation, which comprise of AI and IoT, robotic and drone, and clean tech or sustainability, right? So these are the area that all the company and organization will prioritize in the future. And that's where I would say you can think about building career for yourself. Now, I'd like to note that apart from thinking about getting a job, building a career, working for a company, this is also a tremendous area of opportunity for you to even step up and then start your own company, have a startup, become a founder. Like Sanjay and I, we belong to a previous generation, and we look at you with a lot of, I would say, we love to be young again like you, so that we could really throw ourselves into this new wave of innovation. But my point here is that the sky is the limit. If you don't want to work for a company, you can always start your own, work on your own idea, right? But if you do want to work for a company, I would say, and obviously I work for Amazon, this is disclaimer, but I think that Amazon can provide you such a, I would say, huge opportunity for you to work with massive amount of data. Amazon has been around in the e-commerce space and so many other space like cloud computing and logistics for more than 30 years. And we've got so much data, we've got so much compute. We technically invented and pioneered cloud computing, right? And so, Amazon is a great place to work for. And someday you could join me and Sanjay as our peer in college, and we would be honored to have you in our team as well. So those are the two areas, but also the next wave of innovation is going to open so many doors for you. Now we're going to take a little deep dive into generative AI and talk a little bit about technical, not too much, but I'm sure you all are very technical and very advanced. So let's talk a bit about technology here. At Amazon, we'd like to think of generative AI comprised of three stacks for the simplicity stack, right? Obviously, there are a lot of nuances with any technology, but to help you to create a kind of like framework to bring all this technology in a systematic way and learn about them and not feel fear and overwhelmed, we divide them into three layer, three stack, if you may. The very top is the application that leverage large language model or foundation model. And as I mentioned several times already, Amazon Q is an AI power assistant. It's very similar to ChatGPT, which I'm sure all of you, if not most of you, already try out. Amazon Code Whisperer or GitHub Copilot help you to develop program code much more efficiently and much faster. And Gemini is a recently launched application from Google that offers similar capability. Now, at the middle layer here is the tool to build this large language model and foundation model. So let's say if you want to dive deeper into how this model works and you want to come up with new model, or maybe you work for a company where that company have a special need of building a new model, then probably they will need new tool or to build either new model or new application, right? Amazon offer tool like Amazon Bedrock, which is a managed service, or Amazon SageMaker, or Microsoft offer Azure Machine Learning Studio. Google offer Vertex AI for you to work on. So most of these big tech company usually have their own, I would say, offering in terms of tooling to build new LLM or large language model or application on top of those. And if this does not make any sense to you, don't worry about it. Just think of it like, your integrated development environment, like, VS Code or IntelliJ, or, in my day of, 15, 17 years ago, I used to use NetBeans and other IDE as well. But think of them like an IDE for machine learning and large language model and foundation model. And then last but not least, like I said, for any company that are serious about building generative AI foundation model, they need the compute, which is, the chip, the networking, the memory that power of this model, right? So from Amazon, we have Trainium and Inferentia, and they are custom silicon. They are specifically designed and built for the purpose of large language model and generative AI. And that's just to give you an idea on how serious Amazon is about this new wave of innovation and technology. And obviously, I'm sure you have heard about, NVIDIA GPU, like, Grace or Hopper, the latest generation of GPU. Now, if you're a gamer, I'm sure you're familiar with something like NVIDIA GeForce. Now, NVIDIA also have other product family to power high compute application like large language model and machine learning. And similarly, the last icon is TPU or Tensor Processing Unit from Google. So that are the three layer of the generative AI stack, so that you can really simplify and systemize all this technology and tool and make them easy to understand. And then in the next step, we're gonna proceed with some of the Gen AI demo just to walk my talk and then show you how things work, right? And obviously, because I work for Amazon, I'm most familiar with the application from Amazon. Now with Amazon Q, which is a generative AI power assistant tailored for work, let me bring on my Amazon Q right now into the screen and then share with you. Sanjay, just a check. You can see my screen, can you?
Yes, I can see it.
Awesome. All right. So let's say you are after this webinar, or maybe you already done that beforehand. You are curious about Amazon and AWS or Amazon Web Services. You went on Google, you look for the name, and then you found this Amazon Q documentation. You want to try it out. You can just click this icon here and then type in a question and ask us anything, just like you work with ChatGPT. But Well, Amazon Q is especially powerful when it comes to anything about, building application. That's why we said, assistant for work, building application, or, building out maybe a resume or maybe a presentation, right? So let's say if I'm an engineer and I want to build, say, a new game, right? I'll say, I'll ask Amazon Q, how do I build an online game application on AWS? Right, and then Amazon Q gonna go through all the knowledge base of AWS and Amazon that has been accumulated through that 30 year that I mentioned, right? And then it will search for the most semantically accurate answer. And then after that, it will summarize and then bring back to you the step by step from a very high level. And then after that, dive deep into how you can build your own application. And here you can see some of the main steps to build an online game application, host your game server, backend services, use DynamoDB for persistent game data, implement user authentication, distribute game content with CloudFront, monitor the game, multiplayer gaming, and then integrate with other AWS services. So this 7 bullet point is actually the 7 main component of an online application or online game for multiple player, right? And then if you want to dive deeper, right, you can click on the link that provided by Amazon Q, or you can ask question like, okay, elaborate on step 1, right? And I'm doing a live demo, so it could act up on me anytime. Just a heads up there. Here you go. For step 1, it actually dive deeper into, how do you go about, setting up a server and then backend services. And then there you go. If you dive deeper and deeper, keep asking us all this, reasonable question is going to tell you all of the detailed steps to build your application. Now, back in my day and back in Sanjay day, we probably had to, go through 30 or 50 pages that we found on Google and then try to copy code from here, look at architecture from there, and then also compare with our experience and see which one work best. But now, this powerful tool is in your hand, and I'm pretty sure it's going to help you to improve your productivity, whatever, regardless of whatever you want to build or create, right? So that is, simple demo on Amazon Q.
And I think, Tony, one important thing, while they all are wanting to learn AWS, for example, or any cloud for that matter, this is the side help desk. Amazon Q is nothing but a help desk, and they can use and ask any question. For example, how do I build a website on AWS? You can ask that question. It will give you step by step. You don't have to go through a ton of documentation, as Tony said, or internet and all that. As you are getting into this learning journey, guys, which we will cover down in a couple of slides, you can use Amazon Q as on another screen and keep using that to get the answer real time.
Awesome. Thanks, Sanjay. We're going to show you another very quick demo, just about 5 seconds of, Code Whisperer, which is, the Copilot, the equivalent of GitHub Copilot. Let's say you work in your VS Code or IDE, right, of choice, and then you want to, write a snippet of code to pass a CSV string and return a list of song with position, etc., etc. All you have to do is really write a comment, right? And then hit enter, and then Code Whisperer will just write it for you. Now, most of the time I try it and I use it almost every day now. Most of the time it gives you the spot on code that you can use and run without any problem. Some of the time you do have to make some adjustments so that it fit your need, because maybe, some of the comment may not be as clear, or, you may want to change your mind and do something else along the way. But it's super duper helpful for me, and I'm sure it will be for you as well. Let me have a quick check on time. How are we on time? So, okay, I think
We
we're
are
good.
okay. I think 1 or 2 more demos quickly should be fine.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to show you another demo on Report Analyzer. Now, this is very business oriented, so it may not be super applicable to you right now if you have not started any job yet, but just remember, this generative AI tool and solution can help you to analyze any kind of report or writing, and then, ask very detailed question. Now, even though we showing you the report analyzer, you can apply the same action on, let's say, your essay, or maybe a white paper, or maybe a technical document that your professor assigned to you, right? And it looked like this. You go into an application, you browse for a file. Let's say this is an assignment, right? Or maybe a white paper that you want to learn more about. You upload it to the application, and then after that, you can ask some really, really advanced question regarding the content of that report or white paper, right? As you can see over here, this demo is trying to show that this probably an analyst without much time, without much expertise in this area, upload a report, and then, just ask the question, who's the operator, right? And then the AI application really just give this analyst a spot on answer, right? And then other question, instead of reading through all the report, scanning through all the detail, AI now can help you to find information much easier, much faster, and more efficiently. So that's the point, and you can apply this into your studying. And I'm sure you writing your final year project or thesis, this will come in very handy as well. This is probably the same. The other demo that we want to show you is a code analysis. Now, again, this is very business oriented because we want to show you, we want to share with you a look into the future. This is the kind of problem that business this day trying to solve, and they are solving it with AI, right? So let's say a business have a call center, and then a customer calling, ask some question that is really hard to resolve, and then maybe the customer support officer either couldn't give a clear answer, clear solution, or the manager want to understand what happened, or whether customer were served properly, and then they get what they wanted or not, right? So then in this case, the manager can this is actually a
My name is Daniel. May I have your first and last?
Sorry, let me
Thank you for calling me. My name is Daniel. May I have your first and last name, please?
Hey, Daniel,
Thanks. How may I assist you today?
so I think we talked the other day about another house. I work for, we have a few rental houses on our, under our possession, or, that are legally ours. And one of these houses needs to have electricity transferred under our name instead of our tenant.
Okay, well, sure. I'd be happy to assist you with that. So we're basically moving you into that rental property into the company name.
Correct.
Well,
Correct.
May I start then with the federal tax ID, please?
Sure, it is.
Okay, so this call lasts for about 10 minutes, and obviously we're not going to sit here and listen to the entire call. But the point here is that call comes in from a property manager wanting to transfer an electricity account from a previous tenant name to property management. So, when the previous tenant move out, obviously that electricity account needs to be transferred to property management. The call was ultimately unresolved, as the agent were not able to find the address associated with the account. And then now we'll see how AI can help with this problem. This is the architecture, right? Customer service, receive a call from the customer, the call audio, the entire conversation were recorded. It was sent to an AWS services called Amazon Transcribe. Technically, it extract all the text, the content of that conversation in the text form, and then send to a machine learning model or foundation model. And that foundation model provide firstly the call summary, secondly the sentiment, whether customer were happy, they were neutral, they were unhappy with the result of that call, and then whether there was any resolution. And then the company or the call center can use this as a training material to train the agent. So the next time when customer call in for similar problem, the next agent can resolve the problem for the next customer. And I'm sure when you call your call center this day, you may hear snippets saying that, like, or your call is being recorded for training and quality assurance purposes. And that is what happening in the back end, right? And then we'll see how this being resolved and, how the foundation model really help out the business in this case. So over here, an operator just upload the audio file of that conversation that we just listened to the application. This call is being transcribed. The entire text is being retrieved from Amazon Transcribe, and then the sentiment of the conversation will return, right? And it looked like it has been neutral for the most part, but some part were positive, some part of was negative, and then we can see how many time interruption happened. That's mean a sign of customer is not happy, right? And then there's a lot of other things that you can receive from this, is that the summary, property manager name, etc. And over here you can see that the foundation model actually removed the name of the customer who call in to protect their identity. So that's how smart the foundation model is know the person name, it can recognize that. And you can see now the company or operator can ask question like, did the agent resolve the customer request, right? And then the answer to that is no, right? And then there's explanation as to why it was not resolved. And then what could the agent have done better is another question that the company could ask. And then the model usually take a few seconds, maybe between 5 to 15 seconds to come up with an answer, similar to how you use ChatGPT. It doesn't provide you with answer immediately. It takes some time, but it will provide you with a very coherent answer, like ask for more detail, double check the info, ask for more probing question, etc., etc. So yeah, in this demo, we can see that foundation model is actually leapfrogging the entire customer experience, right? And it helping company to improve the performance of their agent and then improve customer experience. So Sanjay, do you want to take this part, or do you want me to do it?
No, keep going. Fine.
Okay,
We are
cool.
just transitioning it to, so all the demos are done. Guys, please send any questions you may have on the chat box. We have still exactly 12 minutes left, and we'll try to cover as many questions as possible. For now, we are going to focus on what the learning journey looks like for you as a student, right? In next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, where you need to focus step by step, and we'll share some of those resources with you.
Awesome. So in the last, I would say 45 minutes, Sanjay and I have shared with you, the very overview of what generative AI, ML, DL is, where it's heading, what the future may look like. I use the word may because I don't know the future, obviously, and what it may mean for you. And, if I were you, what would I do? As in, where would I build my career, either working for a company or working on my own idea, right? And then we also show you some of the very common application that being powered by generative AI as well. And we also show you the generative AI stack, so that you have a system in mind, a framework in mind, to go ahead and then collect more knowledge for yourself. Now, after this webinar, we highly recommend you to start the learning journey if you haven't done that already. And I'm certain that a lot of you, if not all of you, already play around with some of this, if not a lot of this. But if you have not done it, then go back today, deploy Amazon Code Whisperer for coding in a new language, and explore how it can help you out. And it's free of charge for personal use. Unlike some other services where they charge $20 per license, Amazon Code Whisperer is entirely free for your personal use. And Amazon and AWS provide a lot of material for you to get started and then build up your skill along the way, going from zero to hero with generative AI. There are like 80 plus digital courses that you can take that is guided, created by AWS expert, and they are available on Skill Builder, AWS Skill Builder. Go back today, Google AWS Skill Builder, and you see a tons of material, right? And they are also, a lot of them were also gamified, so it makes your learning journey really exciting and appealing instead of being dry and really hard to consume. We also highly recommend, if you already have some foundation knowledge with AWS, go ahead and learn more and work on the machine learning specialty certificate. I would say this is one of the very valuable machine learning certificate in the industry right now, and is getting more and more on demand these days. So it's a very good thing to have, a great value add for your resume. And as I said, Skill Builder provides so many digital courses. I couldn't take all of them, obviously. Try to take as much as I can, but obviously there are more than courses than anyone can do in their personal time. So that means you are spoiled for choices. You can learn whatever you like, whichever path you take. Apart from Skill Builder, we also have a series on AWS about Generative AI Foundation on AWS. My college, Emma Weber, is the speaker on the screen there. She's gonna dive much deeper than what I mentioned here today, because obviously to understand all this, you probably need about a couple of hundred hours to become a kind of like expert. It's good to start with a couple of hours, but build your skill up along the way. It does take substantial time, but it will give you back a really good return in terms of career building, or building your own idea, right? That I'm pretty sure. And then there's also hands-on generative AI opportunity on Coursera that you can take as well. So the point here is that there are just so many material, there's just so many options for you. So don't worry about where should I start. You can start anywhere and then work your way up there. And Blue Rosa is also another great venue for you to go and improve your skill on AWS machine learning and AI, right? And last but not least, I would say, if you have not have a AWS account, then go back today and sign up. With Code Whisperer, I don't think you need an AWS account, but there's just so many other AWS services, like I said, to build your online game application, to build web application, to build whatever you can imagine, right? That AWS services, probably there will be one AWS services that can address your need there. And try not only the compute services, but also the AI ML services, like I mentioned, right? Amazon SageMaker, Amazon Bedrock, etc., etc. And if you think that this is too many, just go through the course on Skill Builder first, or try to take the Cloud Practitioner AWS certificate first, and that will give you a very good idea of which services that is suitable for your immediate need, right? And then after you learn all those, you can spend your free time building a chatbot or interactive website, share it with your friend, share it with your professor. Remember, things like Facebook started out as just a school project, at just a school website from Harvard. Look at where they are now, right? So you could become another Mark Zuckerberg someday, who knows, right? Yeah, and then apart from that, taking certificate, and if you have any other question, we'll be more than happy to answer today. If we run out of time, you obviously can always send us a note, and then we'll get back to you and support you along the way, right? We are super duper happy. Sanjay and I are super excited and happy to help you, either inspire you or giving you a first few steps in this journey, a rewarding journey of your career.
Yeah, and thanks, Tony. And I just want to add on this slide, guys. It's really, really important to stay focused, because you may get lost. There is a ton of material out there on internet in terms of learning, a lot of courses, a lot of documentation. I would say make your goal that this is, and put a timeline that in next 3 months I want to learn, for example, Code Whisperer. and in another month probably Bedrock or SageMaker or Google Gemini. I think if you go by that goal, really dive deep, go deep as much as possible, experiment it, do not take some risk, build something, launch those apps, share it with your friends, ask for feedback, improve again. You will have to try. You cannot just rely on your college and your professor and your college curriculum, because now the whole learning is out in the open field. It is not confined to the educational institutions and within your curriculum. You have to go out, venture, take bold risk, join the hackathons, join meetup group, set up a group of your friends who are like-minded, discuss these technical topics, do industry research. I think you just have to expand and not just rely on this degree. There are a lot of kids at least in the United States, we know, who are not doing college degrees, but they're super uh, deep expert in certain aspects of the tech industry. So um, with that, I just want to highlight that it is your choice. It depends on you, what you want to learn, right? Don't get lost. The second thing is not just from the job and career perspective, but also become entrepreneur. If you have business aspiration and become an entrepreneur down the line, there will be a flood of startups that we can foresee in next 2 to 3 years. And India is the biggest startup hub in the world right now. Take advantage of all the facilities and infrastructure and the accessibility of the information. Go and build something. um, First 5 times you will fail, but do not stop. Continue this journey. One day you will be successful. So I think with that, I just want to leave this positive note. My email address is there. Send any feedback you have, any future topics you want to learn from us. We'll be happy to come back again. Jenny, with that, I transition over to you. If there are any questions, we still have probably 10 more minutes to go through.
Sure. Thank you, Sanjay and Tony. This was a very insightful session. So before we move on to the Q&A session, I would like to call FFE CEO, Mr. Ram Pulavenu, to say a few words and thank the speakers, please.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny, and thank you, Sanjay and Tony. It's been an invaluable session. I mean, just listening to what's happening in the industry. There's several myths out there from the arrival of AI and ML, how things are going to turn up, and then hearing from what's happening in the industry from subject matter experts like you is invaluable. And thank you for taking your time over the weekend, late hours, to have this very, very interesting session. I know, Tony, in one of your slides, you spoke about different waves in the history has shown us. I think it's up to us and how we take that wave as a threat or as an opportunity. And with budding engineers from top colleges of the country, part of this call today, I'm sure there's a lot of exciting journey earlier in the future, and taking some of this learning. I think 2-3 things which have been very, very insightful. One is to look at how the future outlook is. Second one, actually showcasing that in form of some of the demos. And third is actually providing the students with some of the learning opportunities and areas. And Sanjay, you're absolutely right. I think we're moving to a different world where the learning is not confined to the colleges. And that's why these kind of sessions makes it much more insightful, because we do get lost in terms of various different resources which are available in the market and online. And this focus which this session has provided has been amazing. So thank you. I think there are several questions. I don't want to rob any of that time. Thank you very much for taking your time. So I just wanted to, Jenny, you want to start off a Q&A sessions?
Yes, Ram, sure. Thank you. So we have a couple of questions, but I think due to constraint of time, we can take 4 or 5, and remaining scholars, please mail Mr. Sanjay. He has very graciously offered to, accept your questions and maybe solve your queries. So let's take the very important question that few scholars are asking, similar ones. So the first one would be, what would be the roadmap on how do I learn these skills? Because there are many resources available on the site, and I don't know from where and how do I start the journey.
Yeah, Tony, you want to take that? Maybe you want to go back to those last couple of slides and just show maybe first step, second step, and third step precisely.
Yeah, sure. So I would say, and this is a very good question. Like I said, I at time also feel overwhelmed because there's just so much material out there, right? There are, Hugging Face, there are Mistral, there's Zephyr, there's a new, someone said there's a new LLM released every day, and I concur. It's impossible to keep track of this. And that's why we come up with a framework so that you can navigate the water, right? So you can understand what this company are trying to do. Now, if you are completely brand new, I would suggest that a very good place to start is Generative AI Foundation on AWS. Am I still sharing my screen? I am, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a very good place to start is this Generative AI Foundation on AWS. That's one. And then the second is hands-on Generative AI. Generative AI with large language model on Coursera. Now, obviously, these two courses will not tell you how to fine-tune a llama model. Maybe they will. Last time I checked, maybe not. But what they provide you is a very good foundation for understanding how all this advancement happened, right? And so, you don't feel overwhelmed and you have that sense of direction. And then after that, after you take these two courses, I would, highly recommend you to get hands-on and try to build an application. Maybe try, deploy a model on Amazon SageMaker, right? Which will be mentioned in that YouTube series, or running a Hugging Face model. Hugging Face is like GitHub for large language model or machine learning model, right? And starting to build that hands-on experience, and the more you learn, the more you will realize that you have more to learn, but then you have a much better sense of what next to learn and tackle. Now I want to stress that there is no one way to pick up this skill, right? Some other people would have a completely different idea of how to start than me, but this is how I started, and I cannot claim that I'm an expert, but I don't feel overwhelmed anymore. I know there's a lot of things that I don't know, but I'll just, pick them up and then learning them and then use them for my need or my customer need, right? And you can, apply that mindset or mental model, right? Just pick a course, start somewhere, pick a foundation course, build that robust foundation and then move from there.
And I think the most important thing is, guys, don't give up. Have patience. You will not learn or understand in the first go. Make notes, but read again. Go again. You will figure it out. I see computer science is that field. You have to do it with your own hand. Otherwise, you will not be able to learn. The professor is not going to teach that in the classroom. It's not a structured learning. It is an experimental, hands-on learning.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay and Tony. So we have another question from Abhinaya. Is there any specific programming language which is powerful in AI-related works?
Yeah, for sure. Now, I would say that almost any programming language can be used for machine learning and AI, but the programming language that are most popular for AI and ML, application and model building are Python, Java, or Scala. And I also seen, C++ make a big coming back as well. But if you are new, I would say pick up this programming language in that order, because Python, as far as my experience go, is the simplest and easiest programming language to pick up. Well, you can learn R as well, because I learned R during my uni day. It provides you with a good statistical foundation, Python and R, and then maybe Java and Scala, and then last but not least is C++. Now C++ is super fast, super performant. The thing is that it's a little low level than Python, so that means you need to write more code, and then you have to think about a lot of other things. And this is really my recommendation. It's just to help you to learn and then see the progress along the way. But if you have a strong interest for Java or C++, then go ahead, right? There's nothing stopping you there.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. So our next question is about Code Whisper. So is it like an extension available in any IDE like VS Code, or is it like a website, like a chat GPT?
So it is available as an extension for VS Code for IntelliJ. and for almost all the popular IDE out there. So you can just Google for it. It's super, when you Google, it will show up at the very first page. It's available as an extension. You sign up an AWS Builder account. You don't need an AWS account. So you don't really need to pay, don't need a credit card. You just need to sign up a Builder account, and then you can use the Code Whisperer as an extension for your IDE.
Sure. Thank you. So our next question is, I know this is a little off topic, but how do we become solution architect from solution engineer? Are there any specific skills we need to have, or it's just along the line of career progression in software engineering?
So I don't believe the solution architect is the kind of like, all software engineer will become solution architect someday. They are two separate career paths. Now, solution architect are technical by nature, but apart from the technical skill, solution architect also need business skill to work backward from business need, right? Understand what really is at stake with the business, with the customer, with the employer, or with any other stakeholder, right? Work backward from there and then interact with stakeholder very often, right? And then having a good interpersonal communication skill, presentation skill is also just as critical as programming and coding skill for solution architect. Now, I've seen my colleagues staying a software engineer for their entire career, becoming a principal or senior principal or distinguished engineer in Amazon and other company, and that's a great career path. So you don't have to become a solution architect to be successful, but if you have a strong interest in solution architecture, you should learn not only programming or software architecture, but also need to learn how business work, and then not as the level of running a company like a CEO, but really look at the business goal and then think for yourself, if you were the CTO of this company, what would be your advice for this company to achieve that business goal? So solution architect is almost like the CTO in the company. They don't really program or code day to day. They do code and program, but they have a very high level and big picture view of the business as well. And so if that's your strong suit, then just pursue it. And then at some point, if you see a role like associate solution architect, and I believe that within AWS, Sanjay, correct me if I'm wrong, we do have internship program, and then after internship program, there are fresh graduate that join Amazon as associate solution architect, and they will be mentored like people like Sanjay and me to learn the craft of the art, right?
So that's a great point. We forgot almost to mention that. Guys, keep an eye on the internship, which we will open up pretty soon in February for 2024 summer and fall. I can send Jenny a link to you, and maybe you can share it with all of them. They can apply, and we can guide them through to apply for the internship in summer in India.
Thank you. Thank you. Sure, we'll do that, Sanjay. I'll keep it as a reminder as well in case I'll have to reach out to you for that. So we'll take the last question for the morning as we're running over time. The question is from Snehashish Das. It states, in which domain the AI will develop more?
I think that Sanjay shared a slide. Let me bring that slide up, and it's easier
in pretty much in all the industry vertical, I would say. I think healthcare, retail, communication, oil and gas, transportation, you name it. I mean, as Gartner says, 40% of the companies by end of this year alone, they will at least start using conversational AI for enhancing their customer experience, call center automation, and all those things. So those are very easy use cases. But here are some of the industry verticals which we have started seeing a lot of interest, and that's where people like me and Tony are closely working with some of these customers on AWS to help them build these architectures and launch those applications. So the answer is pretty much every aspect of the human life it will touch in the next 5 to 7 years.
Great.
Spot on.
Yeah. So thank you, Sanjay and Tony, for this wonderful day, for wonderful presentation and session. It was very enlightening and very insightful session on AI and machine learning. I'm sure the students have found it really useful. We had few alums of FFE who had joined us today as well. So their career decision, a change of career path would have also been enlightened today. Very inspiring and informative. I believe students had a lot to take away from today's session. And students, I request you to explore the AWS platform, as Mr. Sanjay and Mr. Tony said. And I would like to get back to you on another technical session very soon. So till then, thank you, Sanjay and Tony and the scholars for participating, and have a nice Sunday all of you. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
My
Thank you all.
pleasure.
Good luck.
Thank you.